Hello, caller. How are you doing today?
Oh, this is iLonghorn. So I just hesitated because English is not my first language. I have an accent, so I hope you excuse that. But hello, can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can. Hi, how are you doing?
Okay. So the fact that we know for sure that Jesus existed as a historical person, but we cannot ascertain whether all the miracles attributed to him can be proven.
So let's not talk about his miracles because not even Paul talks about Jesus doing miracles. So let's stick with actual historical evidence here. Can you please let's start with the best thing that proves that Jesus existed in history?
You have a lot of authors, corroborating his existence, right? Like you have all these writings from, Tacitus, Josephus, Serapion, then all the fathers,
Okay. So sorry. Yeah, we need to take this one at a time. So your first one is Tacitus. Is that the one that you want to lead with?
I'm sorry.
Is Tacitus the one that you want to lead with?
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Okay. So let's start with Tacitus. Tell me what you know about Tacitus and his writing.
Okay. Tacitus was a Roman historian. And he was I think he is like a very, I don't know what to say that. Like he's authenticate. I guess he's a reliable historian.
Like he's trustworthy.
You can say that. There is no reason to say he's not trustworthy. Why do you think so? Do you think he was forged or something?
Well, no. That's not at all my position. So wait for me to tell you what my position is.
So I know. Okay, this mythicism, Jesus mythicism, it's a cult. It's like a very
no. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do this. I will mute you if you start doing this. Stop that. What we're going to do is discuss the evidence that you have for Jesus existing. Can you please not go into the whole mythicism is a cult thing or any of these ad hominem type of arguments? Can we just agree on that?
Yeah, sure. If you watch.
Okay. Good. No. Hold on. Let's start from that agreement. Okay, that we're not going to do that. Now, Tacitus. Okay. Do you know when Tacitus was writing?
I don't remember that on top of my head.
So Tacitus.
There is this Wikipedia article on Jesus of Nazareth, and it says Jesus existed historically. There is the second line. If you read that, it's all modern scholarship agrees that Jesus existed as a historical person, and Bart Ehrman has written a complete book. And Richard Carrier's book.
Okay, so stop.
Okay, hold on.
Stop. You're muted. You're muted. Okay, because you won't stop. I'm trying to have a conversation with you. I will unmute you as long as you agree to have a conversation. And a conversation means that you put forth a piece of evidence and then I put forth my rebuttal to your evidence and we have a conversation like that, right? It's not just going to be you consistently just rambling on and on and on, right? You put forth one piece of evidence, that being Tacitus. Now I'm about to unmute you. And so then we're going to go on. Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Good. So Tacitus, let me lay this out because I was trying to step you through it, but I guess I'll just go ahead and talk. Tacitus was writing in the early 2nd century, okay? The period that Tacitus was writing in was around the burning of Rome, which happened in 64 CE. And Tacitus is actually the only person that we have attributing, that has Nero attributing the fire or blaming the fire on the Christians. All of the other sources concerning this particular bit do not actually identify Christians at all. Next, even if we take Tacitus at face value, all that does is place Christians in Rome in 64 CE. Okay, I have no problems whatsoever with Christians being in Rome or even being blamed for setting the fires that started the burning of Rome in 64 CE. That still does not get us to a historical Jesus actually existing. Now, the part in Tacitus, one part is clearly interpolated, and it's been shown two separate times that it was the Christus, or the not Christus, but the Christians that it says in there was actually originally Christians. That has been conclusively proven through forensic evidence, right? So it's actually Christians, and then it does say Christos, but that is argued to be an interpolation due to the evidence of it regularly being confused with Christus and Christus, those two being regularly refuted. But regardless, even if it originally said Christus, it still doesn't make sense that he would call them Christians and then Christus. There's an interpolation later on when it starts talking about the very Christian specific things, right? So those particular Christian things, nothing in there is actually independent from the Gospels. But even if it was Tacitus that wrote that part, he was getting his information from Pliny the Younger. He could have gotten that bare bones kind of information from Pliny the Younger, who was interrogating Christians in the next province. So that's my explanation for Tacitus. Do you have any thoughts on that?
So you think, so I mean, if we cannot prove Jesus, then we cannot even prove Caesar or, Aristotle or, anyone.
No. We're not talking about other historical figures. And plus, I mean, we could go on a whole long rant about other historical figures. What do you think about Tacitus being proof that Jesus existed?
I mean, most people agree that Tacitus was a reliable historian, and he...
Okay, I don't care what most people think.
I mean, scholarship, most scholars. I mean, so you think that there was a Tacitus is not reliable? Okay.
No, I'm not saying Tacitus isn't reliable. That's not what I'm saying. Okay. I'm not saying that Tacitus is reliable. What I'm saying is that even if Tacitus at face value is true, that still doesn't get us to a historical Jesus, because Tacitus wouldn't be independent of the Gospels.
Okay.
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 So, what is your next reference? I heard Marbar Serapion in there.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got an entire video on Marbar Serapion, but can you please explain the evidence that Marbar Serapion presents?
I mean, I don't remember on the top of that head, but the existence of Jesus, speaking like, and I mean, all the scholarship, like all the academic journals, peer-reviewed journals, all journals on NT, New Testament, they agree unanimously that Jesus existed. And, I cannot go into specifics of, yeah, I mean, you look at so Richard Carrier published a book and it was reviewed thoroughly by the academia, you know that, right?
Who? Richard Carrier's book was peer reviewed. Also, there's a growing number of scholars out there that disagree that the evidence for Jesus existing is as solid as people like to think. But also, you realize that you're using a fallacy whenever you argue this way, right?
What do you mean? Can you explain?
The fallacy is called argument from authority. Now, this is regularly confused with the argument that an argument from false authority, but that's not what I'm talking about here. When your piece of evidence is that the authorities or a lot of people agree that something existed or is true, then that means that thing exists or is true. And that's exactly what you're saying. I mean, if we all agreed that a big purple dinosaur walked around the United States, would you think that a big purple dinosaur actually walked around the United States?
I mean, if the scholars, the people who has actually studied, they agree, then I don't have any problem. Like, it has to be published in peer-reviewed articles, things like that,
Well,
So
yeah,
they do have
but
all this
Carrier has written peer-reviewed articles. He's got an entire book where he's compiled all of his peer-reviewed work in it, especially the Tacitus one. I mean, it might benefit you to actually read the scholarship on this. I know that earlier you said that Richard Carrier's book was poorly reviewed. But honestly, I don't care what some Christian apologist thinks of Richard Carrier's book. Obviously, they're not going to be, they're not going to be in agreement with Richard Carrier. Raphael Lataster has also put out a book. What do you know about that?
I'm sorry, you asked me about Tacitus?
No, I said that Raphael Lataster, who is another historian, wrote an analysis of whether or not Jesus existed and came out as like an agnostic on the question. He doesn't know because the evidence is not solid. So I'm just kind of curious. I mean, was his book poorly reviewed? Did you even know about his book?
I mean, there are a lot of popular books, like you can write any book you want.
This is an academic book that was peer reviewed by professionals in the field, and it was actually targeted at it's targeted at like colleges and stuff like that. So I mean, it's a legit textbook.
Okay. I have read the review on Richard Carrier, like why we have a doubt or something. That's the title, existence of Jesus, why we have a doubt, So the academic review was very funny. Like it was making fun of Richard Carrier. It was very naive.
I really don't care. I really don't care if somebody was making fun of Richard Carrier, and I'm fairly certain that Richard Carrier doesn't even care. The point is that what we're debating here is not whether the authorities agree on something. We're debating the hard facts, the hard evidence. You gave Tacitus, that's not good, because even if it is not interpolated, and Tacitus wrote that, all it does is get us to 64 CE. So then you mentioned Marbar Serapion, who was also not a good, and this is even by like Robert Van Voorst agrees that Marbar Serapion is not independent of the Gospels, because Marbar Serapion would have got his information from Christians that he was around. I'm not sure who else that you talked about, but maybe you could throw down some more evidence instead of just appealing to the authority.
There are there is like other church fathers, right? I mean, you can say they have a bias, but
who has a bias?
The early church fathers, like all these, the
church fathers. How can the church fathers provide us with evidence that Jesus existed?
I mean, I don't see any reason, because, all these hostile conditions, for Christians to, for such a faith to grow. So why would something grow? Hold on, go ahead. Oh, okay. I was saying, like, would people die for something fictitious? Like, all these, all these hostile conditions that Roman Empire was throwing against Christians. And would you think they will die for some nonsense,
Why do you assume that, well, hold on. Let me push back a little bit. Why do you assume that they believed in something that they didn't feel was true? Don't you agree that you can believe something to be true and it not actually being true?
Yeah, that is possible. But okay. There should be some. Yeah.
Let me ask this. Do you think anybody was an eyewitness to Jesus physically existing on Earth?
Okay. Can I call back? How long you guys are on? I will call you back later. I have to go right now. Sorry about that.
Okay. I'll be on for a little bit. If you can call back. I'd really love to hear your answer.
Okay.